You asked us for spoilers, and don't worry, darling. We have them for you.
You have questions. We have questions. Let's explore these questions together.
Yeah, we don't have answers, just questions.
No, I don't. I have so many questions. But first of all, if you have not subscribed yet, we would love to have you. We've got so many great new folks who have joined us, and we're so thrilled to see you. Thank you so much as we try to strive toward our 20,000 by the end of the year goal. And we've got stuff like this for you. We have Don't Worry, Darling, spoilers, and Amsterdam, and fall movie seasons here.
Obviously, this is a spoiler discussion, so if you haven't seen Don't Worry, Darling yet and are planning to, stop now.
Spoilers. So the whole point of this is that it is a simulation that takes place in the present day that Harry Styles, incel Harry Styles, has forced upon Florence Pugh. I guess it is like a dystopian future. I mean, she's a doctor. She's a surgeon.
She's an overworked surgeon, yeah. And he basically is in the thrall of a Jordan Peterson-ish podcaster played by Chris Pine. And basically, somehow Chris Pine manages to get these loser dudes to put women in the Matrix.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions about how that works. So, like, she's lying in the outfit in bed while the sparkly thing is happening in the tent above their heads, and her eyes are being pried open. How does she go to the bathroom?
Is she eating? How do her eyes not dry up? Like, there's a million questions about that part of it that they just blur right over, which in a better movie, you'd be like, okay, fine. We'll assume they have, we'll assume they've got that taken care of. You know, I should really just relax. But it's such a, you know, my joke was like all the big reveals in this movie feel like the big reveal of other movies. You know, it's the big reveal from the Stepford Wives, the big reveal from the Matrix. Like everything that happens in this movie just feels so cobbled together from the loose ends of better, more interesting movies.
Yeah. And then like the Olivia Wilde character, okay, she wants to be in the simulation. She wants to be in Victory because there she has her children.
Right.
Who squeezes a washcloth of water into her mouth? Is she really married to Nick Kroll in real life? What is the plane crash? Is the plane crash a glitch in the Matrix? Is the plane crash the beginning of Florence Pugh figuring it out? Like, what is the plane crash?
That's the thing. One thing this movie does have going for it in terms of like standing up to questions like this is the answer to everything is, oh, it's a glitch in the Matrix. So like it's something went wrong. You know, Florence Pugh is starting to see things. That's why she sees like Kiki Lane's head going into the mirror in the dance studio, or her falling off the roof, or the plane crash, or all these other things. We can just like, well, it's all a computer simulation, so there's some mess up somewhere. But you know, then the whole thing of like, then why is there an escape route to this? Like, why does
that dome at the top of the hill? You mean?
Yes. Like,
what is that?
I mean, ostensibly, if that's where all the men drive every morning, that's how they leave. But it seems like leaving would just be like taking the thing off your eyes. Like, I don't.
Okay, so in the real world, where I guess it's a dystopian future, because when Harry Styles goes out looking for money to like maintain the simulation, it's all dark and rainy, and there's graffiti and trash everywhere. So I assume that's what's happening. And that's right. And that's also why like Florence Pugh as a surgeon is living in a shitty little cramped apartment, right?
Well,
I guess
I mean,
that too.
I mean, she could have been like she could be doing her residency or something, like, because they've got her working insane hours, and, you know, she lives in a not great apartment. So like, I was thinking maybe she's a recent med school grad, and she's stuck with this deadbeat loser version of Harry Styles who doesn't have good hair. You know,
but that makes sense. So when you heard that Shia LaBeouf was cast in this role, Shia LaBeouf makes sense in the present day incel version of that character. Harry Styles makes sense in the pretty boy in the slim suit with the great hair.
Right. But they do figure out a reason to explain his accent anyway. So there's, at least they thought about that.
He chose to be British. Yeah. So it's the future, and the future is terrible, but somehow Chris Pine is still figuring out a way to separate people from their money through this simulation. Is that what we're supposed to believe?
Yeah. Well, I think that the reason that the men leave every day to go to work is they all work for Chris Pine, or they work to make money to pay Chris Pine. Like one of the two. That was my understanding of it.
Interesting. Okay. I was thinking like Harry Styles was out working odd jobs just to like keep the auto fulfill, the monthly renewal going.
To keep soaking that rag in water. You know, I don't know. This is such a letdown because again, like the movie is so stylish and it delivers you into this world and it promises this like this unnerving, disturbing mystery to unpack. And then when you finally unpack, you're like, oh, it's Matrix and Stepford Wives. Like it's old, it's used mysteries.
Yeah. And I want to talk about the sex scenes if we can for a second, because one of the things that Olivia Wilde has said all over the place in interviews is that this is a movie where only women orgasm.
Which
right?
makes zero sense if this is a world created for and by incels.
Well, it's where only Florence Pugh's character does, because in the real world, like she's tired, she has a job, she needs to get some sleep. And like, you know, in Victor, she's down to fuck all the time. And so this is Harry Styles' fantasy version of his wife, you know, that she's like frisky and she's greeting him with a cocktail and she hasn't cared that you've ruined the whole meal that she made.
True. But he only ever goes down on her. And like, I don't know that that's any man's fantasy of like, if that's a straight guy's creation of the world, like, I don't know that that's how where he imagines that he's doing all the work. Like, you tell me. I don't know.
He also pleasures her in Chris Pine's bedroom. And what's that scene about? Chris Pine watching them going at it.
Well, the Chris Pine's a creep, and just to underscore that, I guess. But I don't know. Yeah, so that none of that made sense. Obviously, I don't have a dog in that hunt, but it didn't seem like the kind of thing that like these sort of brutish men would create as their fantasy scenario, because they're the ones who actually have power here. Like, you know, Florence Pugh is in a recliner somewhere with her eyes pried open and on an IV drip. I don't know what's going on. But
okay, let's talk this. The Gemma Chan character I have questions about. So at the end, she kills Chris Pine in the simulation. Was she in on the simulation all along and like biding her time? Or is she also now awakened to the truth of her existence? And also, why is it that if men die in the simulation, they die in real life, but the women don't? That's all like a weird, confusing thing to me.
Don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. And I don't know that the movie knows. I don't know if the movie bothered to think about it, frankly. And that's the other thing. I think in a better movie, a well-crafted film like this, you know, there might be aspects of it that ask you to live in the mystery, to wonder what really happened, and, you know, have arguments and debates about it for years to come, you know. But sometimes they're just sloppy. Sometimes they just like are the script got chopped up a bunch in the development process, and they took out things that would have made other things make sense, and they just left it all in there. And so, yeah, I don't know.
Right. It's either like have all the hand holding or have none of the hand holding.
Yeah,
and this like kind of like leads us along a little bit, but just enough to make us question everything else, which you're right. We should be immersed. We shouldn't be distracted. We should be enjoying the style of it and the performances of it. Florence Pugh is still spectacular in it.
This is the same issue I had with both Us and Nope, where it was like either tell us less or tell us more, but you've told us just enough to be frustrating.
Yeah, but unlike Nope, where I really enjoyed having conversations afterward about what the themes and the meanings and the symbolism were, like this just made me more annoyed. Like this just made me more frustrated.
Well, you certainly know what this movie is intending to say. There's no enigma there. It's right there. But then it's how it's saying it, and what we're meant to take away from how it's saying it is muddled at best.
Is Gemma Chan now in charge of the simulation, and now it's like the ladies are in charge? Or,
you know, was she always, you know, was she like the Tommy Lahren and sort of like went along with this awful patriarchal thing anyway because reasons? I don't know.
Because she was just waiting and picking her spot, and like then she found it. She realized she was weak. Why do they have to take ballet class? Lots of questions. Why
a car chase? Like, why, when you set up a movie like this that is clearly meant to be this sort of cerebral, stylish thriller, if you chuck a car chase in there, and it's like we couldn't think of any other way to end this movie.
I got one more for you. Okay.
Yes.
If the eggs, right, you see Florence Pugh in the kitchen, like, oh, the eggs are all fake. If they're fake, how does she make breakfast every day?
I guess they're not always fake. I think that when that happens, it's a glitch in the Matrix. Christy, that's your explanation for everything.
All right. Well, you guys, if we did not raise any questions that you have, please let us know. If you have any answers for any of these questions, please let us know. If we're just no fun and overthinking it, please let us know. That's also possible.
It's certainly possible.